Okay, mic check. You should be able to hear and also see the screen. TradePhantoms.com. Mr. Blue here. And go over about an hour or so, give or take, for a pre-market prep kind of routine here. And then that will take us into the open of the regular trading hours, stock market hours, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And if I see a setup, we'll take it. Good morning, Jason, Joseph. Good morning. CT. All right, trying to get this oriented here. Give me another 30 seconds. However this lands, should be it. Also working on just streaming through desktop share. Okay, that should be fairly decent. I'm hoping. All right, Mr. Blue, TradePhantoms.com. Let's go. All right, let's dive in. So, Mr. Blue, Phantoms.com here, TradePhantoms.com. And actually, let me go through this. It'll be about 1 hour, give or take, here on YouTube, as usual. For mainly futures and some stock options. Good morning. All right, I always want to remind you all here at Phantoms, supply demand, institutional order flow of supply and demand is going to be the foundation baseline backdrop, and we focus a lot on what's called multiple time frame analysis, starting with the top-down approach. So monthly, weekly, daily. All right, I always bring this up. This is extremely important. This is a document that a lot of members would be able to download for themselves. We have a new month. Today's date. I should probably start there. New month, September 3rd, 2024 here, right? So hopefully y'all enjoyed your weekend over the weekend, your holiday weekend. So back to work here. The past week or two has been quite rangy in the S&Ps and NASDAQ, so I'll talk a little bit more about that. And, I'm kind of hoping that the market kind of opens up, so to speak, with some outside bars, outside days, and some movement. Don't really care where it goes, up or down, but I think this market's kind of due for potentially some breakout days and some trend days potentially coming up. So just be prepared. Okay. In the room, we talk a lot about condition. Okay. What the condition is of the market. And the past couple of days, especially specifically in the SPY, SPY, SPX, QQQs, in terms of the NASDAQ sector and NASDAQ futures, NQ, it's been a little bit more, I would say, breakout-ish versus relative to the SPY. The S&P, but we'll see this week. I'll start this out too. So, okay, let me just go to this document, monthly, weekly, daily, mapping out last month's high, last month's low. So just make sure you're mapping out and referencing how the last month's high and low looks like, okay? And, we had that big drop, and basically the month of August was green, back up green, positive, and we have, a long wick at the bottom of that candle from that Japan August 5th move on the interest rate change for Japan. So monthly, weekly, daily, I kind of color code this. I'm not going to read this whole thing here. Okay, this will kind of start off your week, your month, your day, so to speak. Got some candlesticks, location being most important. Okay, bullish, these bearish candlesticks, location of course being most important, and then the liquidity map, which we discuss a lot via the room, the live trade room, and the classes at phantoms.com. All right, let's dive in. I did want to make a note just really quickly too. Y'all might not be able to see that. Today is Tuesday, of course, September 3rd. We do have 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, ISM Manufacturing PMI. So that should be on your radar for 10 a.m. Eastern for if you're trading the New York session. Okay. Tomorrow we have JOLT data, which is somewhat of a decent big one there, just because it has to do with employment. Okay. And then we also have this week some catalysts. We have unemployment. Okay, and non-farm. ADP non-farm, not non-farm, employment change. And then this Friday, we do have non-farm payroll. So this Friday could be a big one as well, just for a big catalyst. So just to kind of lay out the week in terms of news. So today, 10 a.m. Eastern, so you might want to put that on the on your dock or on your board, on your radar, so to speak, for today's session. Okay, I am going to start out with the, as mentioned, the S&P futures. So a bit more options and futures oriented here. So I'll start off with the, let me see, the daily time frame here. So I got the S&P futures on the left. I got NASDAQ upper right. I got the Dow Jones lower left. I got the Russell 2000 on the bottom right. Okay, all time frames here are going to be daily. I will open up the S&P futures here. Okay, and long story short here. Okay, there goes the August low, August 5th low right here, where my cursor was circling around. Okay, so we had a nice little big drop here. We rallied back up, okay, fairly quickly here. Okay, so big days here, and then lately, okay, for the past 2 weeks now, okay, it's been going sideways. Okay, so kind of somewhat major basing here, without going too in depth down the weeds, down the rabbit hole for right now. We've had major options were playing a major part in this range. Okay, so we had a lot of open interest with the guys and the girls and the phantoms in the trade room. We've been talking a lot about these call and put walls and all that kind of stuff, right? So Jax, it goes well beyond the scope of what I can explain here. The point that I'm trying to make, key takeaway here, is we're still in this range here, okay? So yesterday was a holiday, the markets were open in terms of futures, okay? We were trading for a couple of hours, very low volume. There was actually some decent little movement here and there. If you were trading that using VWAP as your guide, you probably could have picked up a couple of points here and there, give or take there and here and there. But that did not move the markets at all, really. Nothing crazy here. So here's the daily time frame. We're going to map out the highs and the lows. Okay, within this range, last week's high, last week's low, and that's going to be still inside of 2 weeks prior high and low. So we haven't really moved much. Last week was an inside week. Okay, I'll get down to drilling down into some smaller time frames in a moment, which we've been kind of picking off some levels here and there. Okay, in all fairness, okay, out of this range, we've been picking off some levels in here. All right, so you have to update that now that it's being a new week. Okay, and just note here too, yes, we have supply right here in terms of the all-time high of the S&Ps, but I would not be surprised one bit. I would not be surprised one bit if this market just pops up a quick little new all-time high. Okay, and then you hear on the Bloombergs and the talking heads and the radios and the TV stations and radio stations on the frequencies. Okay, that there we go. S&P just popped out a new high for the year. Okay, the longer that this base is, typically, the longer that this base is kind of like a coiling effect, building of power effect, if you will. And if we do have a base break higher or a base break lower, okay, that could kind of open up volatility as mentioned. Okay, moving on to NASDAQ. As you can see, NASDAQ, I'm on the daily time frame here. We had a couple of levels here, monthly, weekly. Okay, there goes the drop of August. Now we rally back up. Now, as I was mentioning here really quickly, the notes that I was mentioning earlier, NASDAQ has been, opening up a bit more relative to the S&P 500. So this is NASDAQ futures. NASDAQ futures on the 1 hour time frame. I've been talking a lot about this 20,000 handle up here, level on level up here, right? Level on level. So institutional level of supply, institutional level of demand. Okay, qualifying the proper level. Okay, there's going to be a checklist regarding that to know that you are in the camp of understanding professional levels, with the professional profit levels versus just a basic kind of level of, maybe like a basic support resistance line, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's more to it, right? So we'll score that. But I had this 20,000 handle here. That's so far right there is the high for the NASDAQ on this little pullback that we have here. So NASDAQ's going to be pretty interesting because we have, it's going to be pretty interesting because we have macro picture up, macro picture, monthly, weekly, daily, monthly and weekly trend still up. That's that monthly level, which you'll notice in a moment when I go to the darker background screen. Okay, after I go to the smaller levels. Okay, but we have macro picture up. Daily is kind of choppy, right? So lower low, lower high here, and then we violated some supply here. And so if I'm looking at this sequence, this is kind of just a pullback, slight little low, low, low high here, albeit, but so we have what's called, we don't have what's called stage alignment or multiple time frame alignment. So the one thing I could say here, or as a key takeaway on this too, however, I will say is the 20 PM moving average is here in blue. You might not be able to see that. That's that blue line here. The 200 is here. We are trading above that, so it is fairly aligned somewhat on the higher time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. All right, but we need this daily kind of junk, kind of like lower low, lower high little sequence right here to kind of start to break and close back above, and we could potentially have a little bit of a what's called the head and shoulders, right? A little left shoulder here, head here could be the right shoulder, and then if we do snap to the upside, there could be this right shoulder developing or developed right here as we start to break higher. Okay, if I had a little more time, I'd go a little more in detail regarding that. All right, Dow Jones. I'm not really much of a Dow guy, but Dow Jones did. I think Dow Jones did make an all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. But Dow Jones did poke above its July high, which was the same high as the S&P, NASDAQ, and Russell before that August drop of Japan. The Russell 2000 down here on the bottom, I actually do have a position on the Russell 2000. Right now, they're down. The futures are down about 1%. So I'm going off of this little positive COG right here. Okay, so I'm in the IWM, which is the options. The IWM is the ETF, so I'm trading the option on that. So I'm just using this, what could potentially be a kind of bit of a pivot area. I was hoping that we can get a bit of a better what's called a positive COG print right here. So we went back inside day, and even this morning, okay, and overnight last night, Russell 2000 is back inside day. So my stop loss on this regarding futures would be somewhere below here, below this pivot, and below this 20. I kind of wanted to put it below this anchor bar here, but I just put it below this pivot. And again, like I said, I'm in the IWM, which is the ETF of this, trading the options on it. I did a bull put credit, and I did just a single leg call option buy. All right, so I just want to reference this really quickly. Even in the futures market here, this is the Russell 2000 futures. All right, I'll just put that line right there below this, and you'll see that on the darker background in a moment, which I'm going to switch to right now. So right now, futures are down. All right, 0.58 S&Ps, NASDAQ 0.73. We got Dow minus 0.60, give or take, and then we got Russell 2000 down about over 1%. So that's fairly decent. All right, but we'll see how this market opens up. All right, I'm going to switch over to the darker background, which I think you might be able to see a lot better here. Let me go over to the S&P futures. Okay, so I have this is Think or Swim. If anybody is curious on that, just watching this on a live stream or recording. Okay, so I got the S&P futures, as mentioned. I have the monthly over here on the left. Okay, weekly here in the middle, daily here on the right. So monthly, weekly, daily, no matter what I'm doing, if I'm swing trading, longer term trading, or if I'm even scalping for a couple of points in the S&Ps, futures or NASDAQ futures, doesn't matter. I'm still looking where I am, on a small time frame. If I'm looking for on a 2-minute time frame, I still want to know where I am on the higher time frame, monthly, weekly, dailies. Okay. Now we just talked a little bit about that. Okay. So you can see, just map out just as a note while I'm here, really quickly moving on. Okay. Before I move on, if you notice over here, all right, map out last month's high, last month's low in your. I'm over here on the left. All right, on the monthlies, we have a nice hammer bar. Okay, so the bulls took this back over, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see if we have enough power to base break this higher. Okay, but we could come a little bit more deeper down on a correction, which I mentioned. And when I get to the SPY, I kind of have a couple of things illustrated out that would maybe be a bit more easier to see. Okay, when I hop over there. Okay, but just key takeaway: monthly, weekly, daily here. All right, just basing, which I've been talking about. I'm going to scroll down to the intermediate time frame or the middle time frame, because at Phantoms we focus on at least 3 main time frames. Number 1 being the high time frame, number 2 being kind of an intermediate middle time frame, middle ground, if you will. All right, and then we have a small time frame where we're going to go on based on the high and the medium. On the small or the low time frame, we're going to refine our zones within zones for some entries and exits. Okay. Now, if I switched over here, I got the 60-minute up here, I got the 30-minute here, I got the 5-minute here, I got the 2-minute here. I'm going to open up the 60-minute time frame here. So this is a 1-hour time frame of the S&P futures. Okay, this is what you're looking at here. All right, kind of getting a mess here because this market has been a mess, right? Choppy. So I'm just going to kind of scroll in and go straight to the point here. I have or I am going to have or map out the what's called Globex high, which is the overnight high, which is up here. And there's a couple lines here that are kind of overlapping that, which is kind of annoying. I get that. I'm gonna have to clean this up a bit here right now for y'all. Okay, so there's the Globex high in Thinkorswim. I'm sorry, it's up here actually. All right, it's a little out of focus or blurry. Let me see. Does that help a little bit if I zoom in there? I might be moving too fast too. All right, there's Globex high here. So call it 5670. Globex low. So far, 9:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is the time. It's a little blurry today. Why is that? It's a little blurry today. I zoomed in a little bit. Hopefully that helps a little bit there. So far, Globex low. We're kind of kissing the Globex low right now, where the overnight session comes in at 5626-ish. Okay, 0.25. Okay. Now the setup is. Do I have an institutional level of demand below the Globex low? Okay, so I explained that in more detail regarding class. Okay, but if I look at the current price, which is right here where my cursor is, kind of circling around on the hard right edge here. Okay, if I look down and left, there's some levels here, but the challenge with these levels are they're not super prime or fresh. Okay, we've been again chopping around in here. Okay, so typically you want to wait for the better, more fresher levels. Okay, now we did have this 5580 level down here, and as you can read that note, it says major SPY OI put wall open interest. OI means open interest, so major SPY open interest put wall here. So the options market kind of let us know that there was a major level here that either needed to hold, okay, or break. If it broke, it was gonna maybe unload a bit of some floodgates lower. If it held, it's going to hold is kind of like a foundational wall below. Okay, so it's remained up and it held, okay, last week. I'll leave it there for right now to keep it simple. Okay, but we study a lot of market makers, open interest and GEX and gamma call and put walls to let us know where there's big orders that could support this market, or in the event that it gives out, the market could kind of open up wider and have more of like what's called a trend or sustainable move up or down. To keep it simple for right now, I know it's going to be hard to see because it's been such in a long range right now. The fresher level of demand are going to be coming a bit more lower down here. So I have 5580. We already touched that multiple times. Okay, so now that we had last week's close and then now we are into September's options. Okay, we have to realign our open interest and gamma and GEX. Okay, we'll talk about that more tomorrow morning, Phantoms members in the live room where I have more time to spend with y'all, definitely more over an hour to discuss that. Okay, long story short here, 5560, this level right here. Okay, 5560 might be a better one in the event that we break the 5580, okay, that has been tested multiple times now already for last week, okay. We could be coming down into here in future, so 5560, 5545, okay. There's another little baby one right here, 5520. I'd be careful with that. I have a little aggressive note on that with an asterisk on that, and then I also have pinned 5486, okay, 5486. Right down in here with these blue demand, these green levels below current price. Okay, I do have this level up here that been tested a couple times now already. It's been working out. We've been breaking highs here. Wick here, wick here, wick here. So it's been used as liquidity, and I had mentioned that as well. Where I wrote even on the chart where be careful here. You might want to, you might not want to put your stop loss right above here if you're trying to take a short, because they'll just probably poke a new high, and that's what they've been doing. Okay, so that's what's kind of making the charts a little bit more probably out of focus too, because this level has been tested multiple times now. Okay, so just be extremely careful. Yes, it's been working out. It's been working out where this level cannot just break and sustain higher. All right, but just remember, folks, new week, new month, new flows coming in. Okay, if there's going to be more liquidity and more volatility coming into this market, okay, we could potentially break this level easily. Okay, and come back up more to the upside and entering into the closer to the supply of the all-time high realm range. Okay, so I have 56.80 up here. Let me at 57.21, and that's going to be again representative of the all-time high. Okay, now could you potentially take a short off this? I mean, yeah, you could if it goes higher and comes up into the all-time high-ish area. Okay, you could potentially take a short off that. Don't get me wrong, you could. What if it doesn't break an all-time high? All right, and what if that holds and then become lower? Of course, that could happen. Okay, but just be careful when you're shorting all-time highs or when you're shorting again, still, folks, macro bull market. Okay, macro bull market. This market brushed off Japan easily, right? Easily off of that, right? There's some other things going on in the background as well. All right, but just be careful shorting all-time highs. Just make sure your risk is managed, okay? And I would not be surprised if they swipe a quick little new all-time high just for some liquidity, exit liquidity, okay? All right, let me move on. I got to speed this up a little bit, coming off of a 3-day weekend, right? Got to speed this up a bit. All right, NASDAQ futures monthly, weekly, daily over here, monthly, weekly, daily, okay? Same thing, okay? Just as a note, all right, I know my notes are all over the place here. It might be hard to see the candle, but on your own screens, on your own charts there, okay? Just map out your last month's high, last month's low in NASDAQ as a recommendation, okay? I'm going to go straight to the point here, go open up the 60-minute time frame here, all right? Zoom in a bit here, all right? Take this blue line, Globex high. Mr. Blue on SPY, we hit that all-time high supply this morning. Maybe in SPY's on a pre-market quote, which is weird. That's why I don't like to look at SPY overnight. I'll just trade futures. But futures did not touch and go up above its all-time high. All right, SPY all-time high. Yeah, it might have touched it in the pre-market. All right, but pre-market is not a lot of volume. Pre-market's not a lot of volume. I wouldn't look too much into that at all, really. It's just me. I've been doing this for quite some time. All right, pre-market quote in SPYs right now, gapping down here. So we have a back mid gap down in here. So yeah, it might have touched it pre-market. Some people might just be, doing, probably selling, taking some profit on the pre-market. Okay. But pre-market in SPYs is very illiquid, meaning there's not a lot of liquidity. All right, so there could just be like one order just got facilitated up there, and right. So, when I'm looking at overnight levels, I'm looking at more futures because there's more liquidity in futures, and they're trading more overnight versus something like the SPY. All right, regular trading hours are going to be more dominant in the S&P and the QQQs, SPY and QQQs. All right, but a good note there for noting for yourself. All right, the NASDAQ futures, Globex low, Globex high. Is Globex low. Is Globex high. All right, we had this level up here. Great, it's been working out a couple times here now. All right, this level here. All right, there's a little supply zone. There was another supply zone here, 19,775. That would be decent for the next Globex trap, bearish, what's called a bearish trap, okay? Well, it's a bull trap, but we're bearish. It's a bull trap, but we're bearish. 19,775, and I just moved that by accident. 19,775 in NASDAQ, okay? This level up here. All right, 19,825. There's a level on level in here. All right. Again, there's a couple of wicks up here too, so just be careful with your stop loss. I'm going to put it right above here. Okay. I'm going to give myself some wiggle room here. All right, Globex trap low. I mean, really, to be simple with y'all, all right, we had this level down in here, came down, bounced off, right? Nice little bounce, great. Nice little bounce here. Okay, bounce here. All right, I'll refresh this. Long story short here, NASDAQ, 19,175. 19,175 down here. That might be still fairly decent for a Globex trap. All right, there's levels here and here. All right, I have to be careful with these ones. All right, I'm not even going to humor y'all and draw any lines or give you prices, right? You know, because I'd be extremely careful, especially with if we open up with some volatility, as mentioned. Okay, a couple daily, you know, we have a low here, we have a low here. All right, a lot of wicks. Okay, not really the greatest level in terms of, you know, in terms of scoring it. Okay, so this would be like a retail level as opposed to an institutional level. Okay, is how I'm treating these little lows here. So in the event that we get down here, 19,175. All right, because we just kissed that level, because we just kissed it and dipped right out of it, that still might have some nice juice in that level in terms of strength. Okay, and then I also have 19,100 and then 19,000 right in here. Okay, so that would be the Globex trap long into demand for a potential bullish trade. Okay, all right, so those are fairly Globex trap levels here, fairly decent. And then again, 19,775, 19,825, this supply area up here would be fairly something fairly decent, something that you can look at for a potential shorting opportunity. And if you're long bullish coming up into this area, this is an area where you want to take profit and sell. Okay. Furthermore, even if you're short and this market's coming down, this would be an area first and foremost where you might want to target and take some profit. Okay. I would even, if I'm short, I'd be targeting this area here. This might not be a buy to enter level to get long, but this could be a buy to exit order. All right, buy to exit if you're short. If you're short, buy to exit on these little tags here. Okay, if you're coming down in here, definitely buy to exit, buy to exit, buy to exit. Okay, getting out, getting out. And then you could look to rotate, buy to enter, buy to enter. Okay, so kind of ride tape down, buy to cover, buy to cover. And then this would be rotation, front side entry, buy to enter. Okay, so that's NASDAQ. Let me do oil breaking down here. Okay, so a new month on oil, monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, again, oil's been in a range. Oil's been in a range on the monthlies for quite some time now, a couple of years now. All right, weeklies here in the middle, it's kind of a mess, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And then dailies, you could see as well, same thing, kind of up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Oil this morning is breaking down. I did notice that we had an engulfing bar on Friday close, okay, which was on Friday. Okay, this candle right here, engulfing this bar here. And, you know, we're breaking down now, okay? So I was mentioning this too. Even if we snap this weekly level here, we could go lower into the monthly lower range over here on the bottom left. Okay, so oil's kind of breaking down here. I'm going to go straight to the point here, looking at the time, 9:13. All right, we can map out our Globex highs, Globex lows. All right, right now, oil is already open for the regular trading hours because it's 8:30 a.m. Eastern or 8 a.m. Eastern. Okay, so there's our Globex low. So we already broke this Globex low here. Here's our Globex high. Right here. All right, now this is already in momentum. Okay, we came down these levels here, took a bounce, and you can see we're just swiping down here. We're swiping down now, okay? So one of the things that we could do, hold on, let me just update this real quick. One of the things we could do on this is we don't want to chase price coming down on new lows here, okay? We might want to wait for a pullback, okay? Wait for a pullback. I'm on the smaller time frames here, okay? Wait for a pullback up into some supply, okay? Some supply on the small time frames. This white dash line is VWAP, volume weighted average price, okay? So just how you didn't want to chase it down here, we have a pullback. We can wait for what's called, after the pullback segment, we can potentially wait for what's called a negative COG, okay? Now, in English, what I'm trying to say is if you focus on quadrant number 1 right now, if I were to cut this in half, okay? If you focus on quadrant number 1, the upper block here, okay? Quadrant number 1, okay? We want to sell short, but we don't want to sell short on lows. Okay, quadrant number 1 up here. We want to wait for a retracement up, okay, into some supply. We got 72. Okay, we got 72, 90, call it, rounding it up to 7,300. Okay, we also have a supply zone up here too at 7,350. Okay, now when prices come up into these levels, okay, we can look to short. Okay, we can do what's called a front side entry, put limit orders at supply, or we can wait for what's called a negative COG. Okay, negative COG. So we had one up here, we had green bar up, came back, tested VWAP, okay, tested VWAP, came up into little intermediate small time frame supply right in here. Okay, then we had a what's called negative COG. Okay, so the reason why I say that right now is because right now we're in momentum making new lows. Okay, don't FOMO enter this. FOMO means fear of missing out. Then you ended up selling short lows and it corrects on you, right? So be patient, okay? And you can wait for your next train, so to speak, your next boat, so to speak, to jump on, all right, and that would be right here. You can see negative COG close below, okay, close below green bar after the pullback up into supply, okay, VWAP right here, 20 period moving average right here. There's another little negative COG below the 20 period moving average too on these small time frames right there. Okay, so that's something that you might want to look for here. These little ellipses here would be entries, but however, after the market pulled back up into a level of supply. Okay, does that make sense? And we cracked down. Okay, continuation. Okay, so don't chase now. Okay, that's a big part of what we talk about that. Okay, so just ignore quadrant number 3. You're basically just bringing your execution entry focus on quadrant number 1. Okay, quadrant number 1, downtrend, low, low, low highs, sellers in control, sell rallies to enter into supply zones. Keyword there. Okay, so again, there you go. So there's a little treat there for YouTube. Okay. All right, so don't chase right now. You want to wait for, again, pull back up. Pull back up. All right. For you Phantoms folks, okay, if you're, I want to move on because we got 16 minutes less, 15 minutes less for the market to open, okay? You might want to pin this 60, down here, 67.50s, all the way down to basically 63.50. So we got a 4-point wide oil zone over here on the monthlies here to the left, and drill down. When you take that range, drill down into the small time frames and go find some fairly prime, fresh levels to potentially look at inside of this monthly to give you some insight of where this oil market might want to at least, for a minimum, take a break and stop going down, right, for a moment, right? So we have the monthly levels down here again, 67. I just rounded down, so 67 70s. Okay, all the way down to 63.50s. Okay, so we got a 4-point wide zone as mentioned there in the bottom left on the monthlies. Okay, gold. All right, gold getting interesting monthly, weekly, daily here. Okay, I'm gonna drill. All right, so macro bullish, macro bullish, macro bullish. I have this daily zone right in here that I had pinned out. Call it basically 2,500. I'm gonna go straight to the point here and go to the 60-minute time frame. Okay, long story short here, you see these blues, okay, these blue boxes down in here. All right, blue is the color code, at least in my color code book here, all right, representing daily. Okay, so I kind of know what time frame that is associated with. Okay, blue is going to be daily. So I'm on a 60-minute time frame here, 1 hour time frame of gold futures. Okay, gold futures here, 1 hour time frame. But I know that this 60-minute level of demand is going to be confluenced with a daily level of demand. Okay, so the best levels are going to be where you have multiple time frame alignment, or what's called confluence. Okay, so I know it's tough to see here. All right, I got the price point right here. Okay, so long story short, if price comes down and breaks this global low and breaks this little level right in here, we can come lower down in here, and I have 24.90. Okay, 24.90 in gold futures, and I have 24, call it 80 in gold futures as well, which is going to be a 60-minute level of demand in here. As you can see here, 24.90 demand, 24.80 demand, okay? But it's also going to be associated and confluenced with, okay, the daily time frame as well. Okay, so that would be, if I also mapped out the Globex low and high, that would also be a Globex trap, in addition to just the hierarchy of demand and supply from top down. Okay, Globex trap short. Okay, I mean, if you want to try to take a stab at this, we have a level up here, very choppy, very rangy, very wicky, not very, what's the word, ideal. Okay, not going to get the highest score in the world here. All right, but if you want to reference this area, see how there's a lot of wicks up here. Be extremely careful here. Again, shorting gold is not going to be the safest thing to do, as it's a monthly, weekly, daily macro bullish uptrend. Okay, but if you were to map out a level, give or take up here, I'd want to be extremely conservative with y'all. Okay, so I'd even be looking up here. Okay, again, you might be saying, well, why did I draw it up here with the wick? Okay, we have it's just a lot of wicky mess up here. So I just want to be super conservative there. So 25.50, 25.50, 8. All right, I'll put an aggressive mark on this. Asterisk. Okay, this would be an aggressive short. I'll make that a lighter color, so I'm hoping that y'all can kind of see that. I'm hoping. I do notice it is a little blurry this morning. I don't know. All right. All right. I got 10 minutes before the market opens. Okay. 25.80. I'm sorry, 25.58 is going to be, again, a bit more conservative with y'all up there. Okay. It's not the best primest level, freshest level. It's not going to get the best scoring in the world, right? All right. In terms of grades for school, it's probably like a C minus. Okay. Maybe D plus, C minus. Okay. Macro picture. A lot of time spent here. Okay. So I'd rather, get long and trade the macro bullish trend inside of the market, which is going to be that demand zones down there that I mentioned. Okay. All right, moving on here. Let's see. So we have a couple things there that we do in addition to all of this. All right, we got 9 minutes before the market opens. I just wanted to see, a lot of FANG stocks are down. I'm going to go to some overnight gaps in a moment. Okay. Most sectors are down as well. All right, but one of the first things that we check, so tech's not having a good day here this morning so far. Energy as well. Energy's breaking down. Oil. All right, energy might be more of the bearish plays this morning, just with the oil breakdown. All right, moving on, VIX. Volatility index. Okay, VIX up 6% this morning. All right, that's going to be more bearish for the market, at least in the beginning. Okay, for now. Okay, now see how it okay. The key takeaway you need to know: VIX inverse correlation. So VIX up, market down. VIX down, market up. So far we have. Let's see. So far we have Euro Yen. I love trading forex. I don't have my forex broker open on this computer right here right now, so I could just take a peek at it real quick here. Euro Yen. Euro Yen's trying to put in a daily engulfing bar here. Yeah, maybe one time on YouTube I'll open up my forex. I don't have all my forex chart work here. I'll open up forex one day for y'all on YouTube. I trade forex, but I need my work here. But right off the cuff, looks like I'm trying to put in a daily engulfing bar. It's not close yet though. It's not close yet though. Euro Yen might be fairly interesting. All right, but let me go back up here just really quickly. I don't have my forex account open on this account right here, so not to share that with y'all. But maybe one morning I'll go over, open up my forex account for y'all, and I'll show you a little something of how I operate with forex. All right, fair enough. All right. Okay, so we got the VIX here. All right, VIX up slightly, 6%. All right, that's fairly decent. Okay, VIX up, market down. VIX down, market up. Inverse correlation. All right. I also want to map this out on the smaller time frames as well. So one of the things I like to do is just put in an overnight high on said VIX here. I'm on a 2-minute time frame here, just small, because I want to see how the VIX sustains itself up and or down, right? So as you can see overnight, we had a slight gap up, and we're up right now, up 5-6%. All right, if this VIX market continues to go up, that could be a bit more bearish for the market. Okay, if the VIX kind of just hangs around in the middle. All right, not too much there, nothing too much crazy there. But if the VIX continues to potentially drop down and go red on day and goes lower, that could be the market could be rallying. So again, inverse correlation on that. All right, there's more to it, but that's where I'll have to just leave it right now, due for time's sake. Okay, we got SPY on a daily time frame right here. All right, last week's close. Okay, so you can see I'm mapping out last week's high, last week's low in yellow, yesterday's high, yesterday's low, which is going to be basically Friday. Okay, because Monday yesterday was a holiday. Okay, long story short here, close up here, gap down here. So we're gapping down in the middle of the range of the past 2 weeks. So I know some of you advanced and Phantoms members in here, that's one thing you probably do not want to hear, because here we are again, right back in this middle of the range. So I'm going to be extremely patient and be very diligent, okay, off the open, maybe giving some SPY and SPX some time and space, because again, we're just in the middle of this range again, okay? QQQs, All right, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Got a couple notes here, unfilled gaps. Okay, we've been drawing kind of where we are. Okay, up here, illustration-wise, within some waves. Okay, can't go into that more right now. We got 4 minutes before the open. Close here, gap down here. Again, gapping down in the middle of yesterday's range. Okay, so be extremely careful. IWM. All right, I had mentioned to y'all that I have a swing trade on IWM. Okay, my stop loss is 215.90 right there, represented by that. Okay, so we'll see. We have a slight gap down on IWM. Okay, it's still going to be gapping down inside of yesterday's range. All right, we'll see how this plays out. Let's see, GLD gold. I already went over that a little bit there. Bonds. Bonds, a slight gap up. Bonds up means yield down. Yield down. Seesaw effect here. All right, so bond price up. Yields down, market up. So the only thing that's kind of giving us so far off the open before pre-market prep, bonds are only giving us a slightly bullish internal before markets open. Apple, all right, I know there's a lot of stocks here, but usually I like to focus just on the main FANG Magnificent 7 stocks because I know that they're the most liquid, especially on YouTube. If I'm not going to be able to sit here and trade with y'all throughout the hours and throughout the day, which I do in the live trade room at Phantoms, okay, I want to be a bit more safer just with folks online on the YouTube. Slight gap down on Apple. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Last week's high, last week's low. Okay, I'm leaving last week's view up on just as reference. Okay, Tesla. Yep, Tesla. Looking at Tesla, it's actually one of the ones that I opened up this morning that were outside gap up, kind of going against the grain this morning. All right, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. So Tesla, decent. Now Tesla likes to trap. All right, I remember last week it's been trapping. So I want to be very patient. Okay, if the first opening bar prints are not trap bars, then this might have some kind of bullish play with the market coming down. There might be I forget, it's not coming to my brain right now, but because I have no time, I'm looking at the time here. It might just be a relative strength play, okay, to keep it simple. Microsoft, same thing. Let's see, Microsoft, slightly outside gap here as well. All right, Google. I want to be a bit more careful with Google. I will say with Google, we do have, we're gapping below yesterday's low. It actually has an outside gap. The only challenge with this, because this is a pre-market quote right here, the only challenge with this is Friday was an inside day here. So albeit we're gapping below yesterday's low, we are still inside of Thursday's mother bar. It's called inside bar. So I want to be a little more careful with that. Okay, but I will say if for bearishness, okay, Google has a bit more of the weaker one opening up. Meta, be careful with Meta. It's been inside bar for like several sessions. Okay, S&Ps are breaking down a little bit there. Nvidia actually has outside gap as well. Okay, outside gap down. So Nvidia is not opening up fairly decent here this morning. AMD inside gap, mother bar, inside bar on Friday. Side gap down, still inside gap. AVGO. Side gap down. All right, side gap down. Okay, so Google. Google and Nvidia, two of the more weaker ones. Let me see, MU, did MU outside gap from yesterday's low to high. All right. All right, market just opened, so here we are. All right, be patient off the open here. SPX open basically 56.25-ish. All right, NVIDIA has one of the more extreme gaps here this morning. AVGO breaking down a bit here too, but AVGO has a level there. So Google and NVIDIA, a bit more of a XOM. XOM is actually breaking down as well, outside gap XOM. And energy sector is one of the more weaker ones here as well. All right, you can see Tesla trying to put in a wide range bar off open there. All right, so I'm gonna hit AMD, AMD NVIDIA, short. All right, already missing a little bit of a move here on these. NVIDIA's implied vol should be a bit more normalized from last week's earnings. So if I do September 6th expiration here, all right, if you were to pick up, say, the 115 strike put, they're going for about 250 there. Okay, so NVIDIA long put, which is bearish. The 115 strike. All right, try and pick these up here. Just got filled at 240 for these. So long put. Oops, apologies. The 113 put, I apologize. All right. All right, long put NVIDIA. The 113, I apologize for that. All right, long put NVIDIA, let me see AMD. AMD did not clear its space here, but AMD could potentially, if this thing continues, if it breaks down, this might have some legs here. So AMD long put, and I promise I'll make sure I get the right side here on the put side. All right, make sure you're doing it correct over there too. So if I pick up the 143, those are going for about 240 as well on the put, the 143 strike put on AMD. Bisco filled at these at 251. Okay. All right, let me check Google. Google as well, looking good as mentioned, right? Outside gap. I like the pain gap on that. Google long put. Pick up the 160s, 115 here. got filled at 128. Probably could have hit that one a little bit more quicker. So Tesla's giving us a little something here. The only challenge with it is we are coming up into a little bit of a level here on Tesla. Let me just check internals. VIX is up a bit here off of overnight highs here. All right, SPYs, I want to be patient with it. It's still inside of its mid-range there. All right, let me see, advanced declines are negative 823, not super extreme, improvement a little bit there. And then Vol D is volume on the New York Stock Exchange up versus down. Let me see, this is the new day here, just printing a negative 1.9. So not super extreme. All right, the VIX is up about almost 8%, and it's holding above the highs, at least for right now. All right, SPY's below its VWAP a bit there. Now Tesla does have something here, which we could lean against. This wide range bar on the 5, off the open. We have a couple candles here, so stop loss would be, basically right here if you were to take this. All right, we are coming into a level of supply on Tesla, I will say. There's stuff there, there's something there, so you want to be a little careful with it. But if I were to, let me see, maybe a little bit late on it, but not too late. Let's see. If we were to pick up, say, the 222 half, those are going for about 350. The only thing is, market's a little heavy right now. Okay, VIX is up, so you might want to be careful with that. All right, might want to be a little cautious on that one there. Let's see, Visa. Check on this IWM. Microsoft. Qs. Yeah, it's the VIX being up. Breaking 17 on highs. Tech is definitely the weaker one of that group. And not locking a Tesla up there. JP Morgan, calm it down a bit. JP Morgan all-time highs. All right, Qs have negative COG here, so if we get long puts on Qs, I do not lock in Tesla right there because of that level, and the markets are a bit heavy right now with VIX up. Let me see, if I were to get, let's see, I'm already short NVIDIA. Let's see, so 470. If I pick up the 469, those are going for about $1.35. QQQ short here. 469. All right, got these for about $1.37 here. All right, NVIDIA, we got new low here, TP. Take some profit on NVIDIA. All right, TP some here, 245 to about 290. Take some profit here. All right, just took some here at 295. Looks like they gave me. For the 113. Right now they're going for $3 if you want to hit that. There you go. All right, let me TP some more here. 315. TP means take profit. All right, they're going for about 320 right now, 315-ish. All right, I got filled at 310. All right, so basically that blue line there, I'm trying to move that over, all good. That's where, all right, I'll put these in green. This is TP. All right, TP means take profit, TP1. TP2 off this new low. AMD, let's TP some too as well. This is what we got in up here. Let me TP some here on AMD. Take profit from 250s to 3. All right, 299 is what I got filled on these. They're going for $3. All right, Google. All right, stop loss could be up here. So if there's that white dash line right there, VWAP, if we just, I don't want to put it right above the high here. All right, so I'll give some wiggle room here. So stop loss on Google in the event, because I'm not gonna be able to be here to manage everything here with y'all on YouTube. 163.66 stop loss. I'll run a risk profile on that for y'all if this is wrong. All right, so what was it? 163.66. All right. 163.66. Put that over here in the price slice. 163.66. Enter. Risk profile. So we bought for $1.90. I'm sorry, $1.28. Running risk profile. If this got to 163.66 on the stock price, okay, what we bought for 178 would be floating down or be risking about 70, $71, depending on theta, 75. So about 70 to 71 if you put your stop loss for the stock on the stock price up here. All right, that might seem fairly wide, but what I don't want to do is get stopped out, as a green bar up into VWAP, clip myself out, okay, and then that's a normal correction there, and then potentially if this thing doesn't get stopped out up there, I want to give myself some space. If we just test view up and come down, I don't want to get nicked out of my trade. So I have to give it some space here, right? So I just ran a risk profile on that, so I know the risks that I'm taking on that, right? So right now they're down like 30 cents. 30 plus 10 is almost 40, right? 38 cents, whatever, right? 30, 40 cents. That's still fairly okay, because we have VWAP test coming up right here, right now. So I'm going to give that some time and space to potentially test that VWAP there. All right, Microsoft actually, that's going to be hard for the Qs here. Microsoft actually turned into a bullish trade here off that open there. Nice. Lily's on fire. WM still swinging. Apple breaking down. So we got Microsoft up, Apple down. Interesting. All right, Qs. Qs, same thing. All right, I'll put it right here. What do they call it? 4. $474.04. Yep, it's on its VWAP right now. It's an odd dynamic today because we have Microsoft and Apple still two of the bigger companies in terms of market weight. Apple's down, Microsoft up. All right, remember we do have that 10 o'clock news, right? All right, VIX is up. Yep. So internals are slightly bearish here. VIX just made new high on day here, up roughly 10%. That's a little bit of an outlier there. All right, SPY's just printed a negative COG there. All right, so just be patient on that. XOM, anybody snag XOM? XOM actually has a breakdown. Negative COG. BI, beautiful gap down. Yeah, BA, I'm sorry, BA. Yep, outside gap, breakdown, good job. I can't stand trading Boeing, but yeah. It's about time. It's been inside day for this thing. So this is what's happening today, Steven. Good job, buddy, because you have, good job, buddy. You have mother bar high, mother bar low right here. Here's the mother bar right here. So Boeing was been a nightmare, like inside, red, green, red. But then today we gapped down outside of that. So anybody who's trying to hold on long, waking up this morning on a Monday, a Tuesday, I should say, getting puked out. So that's energy right there. Base, break, inside bar, outside gap, base, break, boom, see ya, gone. Topping tail off the opening bars range. Topping tail off the opening candle here, good job. All right, SPY's breaking down a little bit there. I was just fixing to get some puts there. So a little bit late on that. All right, I gotta go, folks. XOM fix it was good too for another little negative COG with energy just being a bit heavy this morning. So BA and XO, I'm fairly decent. All right, I don't want to chase with y'all right now. All right, this is a nice little negative COG. If you know, you know. Some phantoms. All right, I might have just missed a little SPY clip down. All right, but yeah, that's my time for now, folks. I'm gonna get to the screens personally here myself. Just missed a little SPY clip down off the negative COG. All right, VIX on highs. All right, if this is kind of tooting your horn here, I'm Mr. Blue. I'm at phantoms.com, www.TradePhantoms.com. All right, if you want to see kind of what this is like, okay, click on the register there. All right, and then this Thursday, September 5th, all right, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2.5 days away, name, email. All right, you'll get registered, you'll get sent the link. All right, not about 90 minutes, an hour and a half, give or take, depending on questions. It'll kind of give you a top-down, the skinny, if you will, what Phantoms is all about, how markets really work from professional traders. Okay, myself, Mr. Blue, Mr. Black, Mr. Green. All right, we've all have unique experiences. All right, Mr. Black, the supply demand guru, Mr. Green, Mr. Forex, myself, Mr. Blue, I'm like everything. All right, stocks, futures, forex, options, everything. Okay, how professionals analyze the market, up, down, and sideways with options. You can sell options, right, multi-directions, up, down, and sideways. Okay, and if you're starting out trading a small account, just starting out trading for some side income, great. Okay, if you're trading larger accounts, okay, managing or protecting your wealth portfolio. All right, we have everything, we do everything, one-stop shop, if you will. Okay, so therefore it's not all about stocks. It's about all different asset classes, stocks, futures, forex, options, even crypto, okay? And then all types of styles, day trading, swing trading, long-term investing, okay? We could be day trading in SPX options, collecting credit, okay? To give you the range, all the way to buying leap options in BITO or any other long-term stock that you potentially wanted to invest in, okay? So multiple styles of trade, all right? Again, TradePhantoms.com is where you kind of get that start. And other than that, I think I'm good. Trade safe. Got VIX up, so get focused. We're still in range for the most part right now. Very early, new week, new month. So stay focused, stay patient, and then I'll see some of y'all Phantoms later tonight for class, and I'll see, God willing, y'all in the trade room tomorrow morning, being Wednesday, normal time. Cool. All right, folks. God bless. Take care. Trade safe. Blue out.